today, my friend Mike O'Mara and I are here. We are going to be talking a little bit of OZ therapy, right, Mike? So
Absolutely.
he and I have been discussing some of the challenges really that he's faced and in and around real estate and opportunity zones. And so, Mike, I'd like to just give you a second here, maybe just give a little background on who you are and what you've been up to for the last few years in and around OZs, and we can dive into the therapy part of this and ask a few
Yes.
questions. Sound good?
Absolutely, Chris. Thanks for having me. Really excited to be here. My name is Mike O'Mara, and I'm a Senior Vice President of Capital Markets with Avison Young here in Boston. And my quote day job is investment sales broker, which entails a lot of 1031 exchange work. And so, how did I get here? That's probably the launching off point. Is back when the Jobs Act came out. We're going on almost 3 years now, and the topic of capital gains and capital gains deferral obviously was at the forefront. And being in the investment sales world and doing a lot of 1031 exchange work, it just caught my attention. It really made it was very intriguing. So with such a new and big tax law that is way above my knowledge base, I just started to dive in to try to understand what it was. And ultimately, it led me down this path of joining Smart Growth America and Locus, which is a DC-based policy organization. And they were really in the forefront of trying to bring the message, the rules and regulations to the public marketplace. So that's how I started on this path, and it's just evolved in my practice area going forward.
Mike, thanks, man. I know we talked about this as like a therapy session, right? I'm going to bring that up again because I think it's appropriate, because we know we've both been in and around the OZ industry long enough to know that there are misconceptions, there are crickets. It's like, in fact, I just spoke with someone this morning on an intake interview for Ozworks, and she was like, "Hey, people are just pointing me in different directions. One person points me to the next person. This CPA says like, go to this person. I don't have time for that. I don't have the knowledge there." Like, there's a lot of don'ts that keep coming up, and that was one of the reasons why we put Ozworks Group together. So when you and I connected, we talked, and I appreciate your openness. One of the things I always want to be doing is like telling true stories, right? So in your experience, man, what's it been like to be in and around the OZ space in the last year and a half?
Well, the very beginning, it was confusing. I didn't really know where to look or how to figure it out until I joined Locus Smart Growth America. So that was the good news. That's where I found a place where it was like, call it safe, for better expression, because the perception, and it's actually factual, is that this is a very technical tax code. And so if you think of, the big CPAs, the investment funds, they have all the resources in place to understand it. I really came from it kind of from a broker's mindset of boots on the ground. And so as I started to learn the code as best I could, I just started going down the path. I'm like, this is really interesting. How does it work? And so it was just a lot of OJT, on the job training, a lot of mistakes along the way, but the path kept presenting itself to me as I continued forward. And then, as everyone knows, the pandemic hit, and everything just kind of stopped. So that the first part was just self-education. That's really what it was. And there weren't a lot of resources out there like there are today. So that's what's really exciting about OZ Works Group. It's easy to get bogged down on how to learn this and figure it out on your own. And I just came to the conclusion that there are smarter people out there than me. So who are those people? And I started aligning myself with different practice expertise, from securities brokers to CPAs, tax advisors, you name it. And through those efforts, I dare say that a lot of my business is pivoted into opportunity zones today as we speak.
So this is great, man. What there, you saw some, OZ's attracted you for some
Yeah.
reason, right? So talk about first why you personally are motivated by this industry, this incentive. And then the second part of that question is like, what do you think people who are real estate brokers should know? Why is it valuable to them, right?
Sure.
That's a gap
Right.
that part of the education is missing out there. It's like, how do I go from this to this, and why is that important or valuable to me? So first part of it is for you, what drew you to it?
Yeah, great question. And, you just, sometimes you never know where the path's going to lead you. So when I joined Locus Smart Growth America, I had never had an opportunity to kind of work with the public sector side of the economy, if you will. Most of my work was all private sector and transaction based. And so when I took and stepped back, and I was like, here's a program that is designed to invest into low income census tracts around the country. And it just kind of connected for me personally on a personal level. It's like, I never saw the ability before to use all my skills to work in an area that could, quote, make an impact. And that excited me. There was just a real, connection and a draw to me where I'm working on things that create impact, and there's more purpose in my career than, I could have imagined. And I'm not, running away from my career as an investment sales and 1031 guy. That's still there. But to me, it was something real more personal, if that makes sense.
This is, yeah, it does. And this is a theme in all the conversations I've had, all the investors and all the developers and all the service providers and all the stakeholders in and around this industry. The ones that are really making it happen and making it work and being successful are the ones that will tell you straight up, if you're just in this for the deal, for the money,
Yeah,
it's not for you. The social impact layer is a critical component of these types of projects, right?
yeah,
And it's really at the root of the law, right?
Right.
The purpose of it was for that. So but let's talk about that business side of it, right? So you're drawn in, you're like, oh man, this social impact thing, let me learn more. It speaks to me personally. Motivation, morals, grounding, whatever that is. There's a draw. So you're in, and then there's like, okay, and this is your unique perspective as well, as like from a broker standpoint, a real estate broker standpoint. Then you go, okay, well, it has to be valuable too, right? So what should people know? What's the value for a broker to be engaged in and learn more about Opportunity Zone?
Yeah. And again, I didn't have a playbook. I just started to kind of follow my instinct, if you will. And like as a broker or, an advisor, whatever you want to call yourself, is you're a connector, you're a facilitator of transactions. And so when I looked at the big picture and I said, well, where's kind of the pain point in the OZ world? And where I started was after we Smart Growth America and Locus hosted an Opportunity Zone Academy where they picked 5 communities up here out of Massachusetts and flew them down to DC with the policy people to help the economic development groups understand how this code works so they could bring it back to their communities. And then we hosted boots on the ground with 2 communities, Fitchburg and Brockton, with their economic development team who, their job is to spur economic development and growth and everything. And they have a variety of other tools in their toolkit. So this was, quote, the icing on the cake from an incentive standpoint to help underwrite the deals. And once I did that, and I was actually embedded in these communities, I was like, again, the light went on for me that there's this real need from a real estate perspective to try and help these economic development agencies connect with the developers and the capital sources. And every part of that is, connected with making an impact. And OZs, the real estate deals still have to underwrite regardless. And the private marketplace is going to the path of least resistance usually, with the exception of a lot of the affordable housing developers. They're already in this marketplace. But from a commercial real estate standpoint, it was exciting to be connected with the stakeholders and the shareholders of these communities. And that's really became my jumping off point to say, you know what, there's a void here, and I think I can help try to bridge that gap. And so, there's just this personal mission side to this whole thing for me as well. And it's exciting because, again, my day job, investment sales, 1031 exchange, it's private market side, and it's driven not purely, but, wealth preservation and hopefully profit.
Yeah.
But there's no impact to that piece of the business. So that opportunity zones just opened up this new arena for me that it was like just this path that led me here.
So that's the value, right? It's like there's a new business.
Right.
There's a new way to engage and to build additional relationships. At least that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah. And every zone, every deal is different, so it's exciting, and you just to meet people if it's an economic development group or some type of agency to the sponsor. It's just exciting.
Yeah, that's great, man. So you said this, and the term was path of least resistance. You just said. So what is the path of least resistance for someone in commercial real estate, broker, whatever that looks like, who wants to enter the opportunity zone industry? You had to navigate this puzzle and map it out yourself. What's your advice, and how do they get in the easiest way possible, right?
Yeah, the easiest way possible is clearly to know where the zones are in your community. And there's public information that has cataloged all these zones. So, I would simply say, start there, go and find the designated zones, and then go into the market and drive the market and find out who the owners are, the businesses are, and see if there's some deals there that you can try and put together. Listen, one thing I've run into, and you'll hear this, is that all zones aren't created equal, and there are some zones that probably you're not going to be able to do anything in. So, and I learned those lessons too. But I keep up here in Massachusetts, that's where I started, but I'm doing stuff around the country now. Is I went on the zone map and I literally reached out to every economic development director in these zones to make an introduction. And they were excited to hear from a broker, or commercial real estate advisor.
So along those same lines, right? It's like, okay, that's the easiest way in. Now what? You're a person who's done it. You are highlighted and you're a member of the Osworks Group community. I want to encourage you to tell your story, if you'd like to, about how, people can potentially come and connect with you to help get some guidance around that.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why we created the online community with Jizz Osworks Group, right? It's how you and I connected. It goes well beyond just information, right? And so maybe just talk a little bit about that experience. And I'm here to say, Mike is a person that you can tap on the shoulder in this community along with others, right? So
absolutely. Again, go back to saying that there was no playbook. So it was just a combination of curiosity and a lot of falling down, to be honest, especially, a brand new tax code. It was new for everyone. And I was kind of just creating my own playbook as I was going along. So it came with a lot of mistakes and a lot of pain, but it was just something that, as it evolved, in particular coming out of the pandemic, it's like the road just keeps appearing. So, you do have to have a start point. You also have to have a checkpoint. And I would just say, listen, I put a lot of sweat equity into it, and that's what you can do with anything. I think just all my years of brokerage work has helped facilitate and expedite the learning curve. So, there's a lot of momentum, but there's a long runway with this program, and I would encourage anyone that has interest to jump in the game, jump in,
Yeah.
put your foot in the pool.
Yeah, man. So you're on the therapy couch. What else
Yeah.
do you want to get off your chest today? Anything?
That's a good one. I think it still goes back to finding the right people to network with, and where's the motivation? Make sure there's an alignment, and just be open about what your intent is to try and come in. And again, the whole social impact piece, and there's more need out there than ever, and there's quote opportunity for any real estate broker that wants to try and learn this part of the business and make an impact. So, the therapy is if you're not satisfied with your other part of your career, then maybe you come over here and try this.
Yeah, I feel like we've opened some doors, right? And so that's the goal here, is to allow people to see a little bit more behind the scenes, to know that there are resources. Osworks Group is one of them, where Mike, I appreciate you being such a engaged member. I mean, so many people that are in our community that's part of the culture, that's part of the DNA, is you get out what you put in, and there's many ways to connect in there. So this video is going to be, I would think, one of many that we're planning on recording, right? Unless we got everything out right now, which I feel like there's way more to peel back.
There's every day is a new opportunity to learn.
And, for sure.
Engage with the marketplace. And that's what's exciting, is that every day is different and new. And this opportunity to help isn't going away. So.
Yeah, well, I appreciate and thank you for just carving out some time to do this. And there's more content, there's more videos, there's more people like Mike that are in our network, and happy to answer questions, or even get on the phone with people who have specific questions about what we're doing and how we're doing it. There's a real estate zone that we've carved out, so questions specific to real estate and LZs can be answered. And Mike, we're continuing to get you involved in all that. So thank you. Really appreciate it, man.
Whoever sees this or hears it, I'd encourage you to jump on in. Don't hesitate to reach out if I can help.
Awesome. Love it. Well, we'll catch up with you soon. We'll post some more videos, and we'll keep doing it.
Look forward to it, Chris. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Take care.